Private parking companies nowadays have much more in their armoury than a bunch of simple tickets. They come armed with detailed knowledge of the rules, laws and regulations under which they can operate, along with one other crucial weapon: a seeming determination to be ruthlessly unsympathetic. Of course, we need rules and regulations in all walks of life, but when they're applied, we expect it to be done with a sense of fairness and reason and an acknowledgement that sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. An expectation that, frankly, some members of the private parking industry seem to have little interest in meeting. This is James Smith from Kent. When his wife Barbara broke her leg, they decided to use the Shop Mobility wheelchair hire service at the local shopping centre. When they arrived in the car park, this is what greeted them. He parked here, just as the signs suggest. Yet when he came back, he'd gotten a £95 ticket for parking in a disabled bay.
It turns out that I needed a notice to put in my car to say that I was a customer of Shop Mobility. I wasn't aware of that, and when I looked at all the signage in the car park, but unfortunately there was nothing to tell me that.
The sign said Shop Mobility, so we're absolutely certain that we were doing the right thing.
A breach of the rules? Maybe, but an easy mistake to make given the confusing nature of the signage. And yet the appeal was rejected out of hand, the parking companies saying that they were determined to eradicate the abuse of disabled bays.
They made me feel like a criminal. That is the worst part about their correspondence. They presupposed I deliberately took a disability bay for my own benefit. It's black and white to them. You're either an infringer or you're not. And they don't see any areas of grey where mistakes can happen.
This is Leah Elliott from Lincolnshire. When her car began to overheat, she stopped in the nearest safe place she could find, a pub car park.
I pulled over and started looking through my car's manual to see if I could work out what the problem was, and I couldn't, so I looked at my mobile phone to see if there was any information on the internet, and there wasn't. So as a last resort, I decided to phone the car mechanic, and he explained that it was fluid levels in my car and that I could get the problem sorted. So I left the car park after a stay of about 20 minutes to go and get the issue addressed.
2 weeks later, a £100 ticket arrived, saying she'd been caught on CCTV parking without paying.
It didn't even occur to me that it was going to be a pay and display car park, because it's a pub, and what pub usually has pay and display car parking? Plus I was in a state of panic and it was dark, and I didn't even leave my car at any time, so I didn't feel I was parking.
By the letter of the law, waiting inside your car counts as parking. So again, the appeal was rejected, with the company saying that if she'd really had trouble with her car, she'd have called a tow truck. Leah didn't think the charge was fair and at first refused to pay, but she was bombarded with letters telling her to cough up.
They were quite threatening in the tone. They were threatening to take me to court. So I ended up paying a fine of nearly £200, which is crazy when you think that if I just paid for a ticket, had I known, it would have just cost me 90p.
And this is Tammy Carter from Nuneaton. During a visit to the seaside, she bought a pay and display ticket, just as instructed. But she got a £100 parking notice nonetheless.
We thought, well, how can that be? We've paid to park. On looking in the car, we realised that the ticket had blown off the windscreen.
The rules state that a ticket must be displayed, but this one didn't have any adhesive on it, so it couldn't be stuck down, meaning really this could happen to anyone. So did the company consider cancelling the charge? Of course not.
We sent off a picture, photographic evidence of our ticket. They sent an email back saying that you still owe this money and we appreciate you paid to park, but you failed to display it in the windscreen and so you still owe this money. I don't think there's any room for manoeuvre at all. I think once they put that ticket on your car, demanding this amount of money off you, no matter what you say, they want that money.